Hello friends, my name is Hako and welcome to the channel. In this video I kinda wanna say that I was wrong about my initial impressions of Wuthering Waves, or WUWA, whatever you wanna call it. And to be exact, I now consider myself to have been wrong in my initial impressions. So let me explain. At the release of Wuthering Waves, the first time I heard about it was during one of my live streams. Or like several of my live streams, like people kept bringing up this new, like cool, exotic gacha game, and people also said that it had like a monster catching element to it, and that really piqued my interest. Like I've been a lifelong Pokemon fan. You can ask my parents. Like it's basically all I could talk about during my upbringing and my childhood. Absolutely consumed my life. So I was like, you know what? Hell yes, hell yes. And at the time of like Wuthering's release, I was severely burnt out of Genshin. Like I loved Genshin in the beginning, but after that it's been like, you know, very up and down. I've endured it in like, you know, spurts. And while I do enjoy the game, like I do consider that there's a lot of flaws that like a lot of like later gachas have fixed. So when I heard that there was an open world gacha, kind of just like Genshin being released without like a Pokemon mechanic, I was like, you know what, sign me up, I'm super interested in this. So I was like sitting here waiting for the release, and like as soon as the game went live, so did I downloaded the game, I played it for 8 or 9 hours, like my first day on stream, and went in with a very open mind, hoping to kinda, you know, get something to like cure the Genshin, or like cure the Genshin burnout. Like I wanted Genshin but better. And my initial impressions like that first day was not that I got Genshin but better, but I got Genshin but worse. I kind of felt like the game took like every opportunity to just like, you know, try and mimic Genshin instead of trying to be like something on its own. And I'm not saying like, you know, it subjectively was that, but that was my first initial impression of it. I thought everything kind of, you know, looked the same, and instead of like, you know, giving me something new, it kind of gave me something old, slightly repackaged. But I didn't feel like it, you know, made its own identity clear enough, and I just felt like I was, you know, playing Genshin from Wish. Once again, I'm not saying this was the case, it's just my first initial impression of it. So I continued playing Wuthering for 2 to 3 days, and I think my total playtime was around 30 hours. And by then I kind of, you know, considered myself to have played enough of the game to kind of, you know, give my formal opinion on it in the form of like a YouTube video, kind of tearing it a little bit down. And after that video I saw no real reason to continue playing it, like I had no innate want to continue playing the game. So I simply shut Wuthering down. I think I even uninstalled it. And then the months kind of went by, and kind of recently I started like hearing murmurs and whispers. I saw comments on my videos, and I like got people that had also tried out Wuthering, and you know, it hadn't really felt like it was for them, pop into stream, you know, kind of telling me, hey, maybe you should like give this another look, another check, because it's actually good now. They've done a lot of updates. I got sent some character teasers, especially for the character you can see on screen, Camellia. Like her character teaser, like I watched it live on stream, and like, you know what, that kind of looks good. Like she looks pretty freaking awesome. I didn't feel like the game at release had anything that, you know, even similar to her as a playable character. And I was quite clear in like my initial review of Wuthering Waves that, you know, I want this game to succeed. Like I'd love that. Like, and that's good for everybody. That's good for, you know, Kuro fans. It's good for Hoyo fans, because it creates some competition. Genshin has been the top dog since it kind of was released. So, like, you know, I wanted the Genshin killer, both for Genshin's sake and, you know, for this game's sake. I wanted it to succeed. So, after hearing very good things about it, I re-downloaded it. I popped in like on the last few days of Camellia's banner, and with the like return welcome back Scooby-Dooby bonus that you get, I did manage to get her and started playing around with her, and I was kind of freaking blown away. Like honestly, so if you're watching this and like you haven't tried Wuthering, like just see a little bit what this character can do. Like she has 2 different modes. Like I still don't feel like I fully understand how to play her properly, but she has like one mode where she's white-haired, and she has one mode where she's red-haired. And the red hand can kind of hang in the air, just like this, which is kind of super cool. And if you hold the attack button, you do a spin like this and like this. As you can see, this is a massive goddamn AoE. And honestly, she's just so much freaking fun. This is ultimate. I don't know, she just blew me away. I'm like, whoa, okay. This current banner character is like this. Like I wonder how many cool characters I've missed. So I started leveling her up, and before I managed to get this little red hair, redhead. And I kind of made a team around these two, and I started clearing content, and I started like tackling on the events available in the game currently. And one of them was was it the Somnium Labyrinth? Yeah, one of them was the Somnium Labyrinth, and I think that was the first event I started to do. And doing that event, that's kind of when it hit me, or like that's kind of when I started feeling like, dude, they've done some amazing stuff since released. I got teleported to this like really cool place, looked to be kind of in outer space, and there was a giant black cat, and like, I don't know, it just felt very sci-fi, almost Twin Peaksy-ish. And I just felt like, damn, where was all of this like in the beginning? Like, why didn't it, put this foot forward first? Like, instead of kind of, in my opinion, rehashing a lot of like, Genshin story beats in the early parts of the story and that. I'm like, where was these like doorways into other dimensions and giant black cats and stuff like that? I was kind of blown away. I'm like, you know what? Maybe people were freaking right. So I continued playing. I did all of that event. I did basically all the events available. Tried to kind of get my account in order. And I found myself actually freaking enjoying the game. And I can tell you, like, I did not enjoy my first 30 hours into Genshin. The first character I pulled, like my guaranteed after that, is it 50 pulls, was Encore, and I did not like the playstyle of Encore. I did not think that she was fun to play. Like, she didn't feel great. Once again, personal opinion. But now having a decked out team with Jinlin and Camellia, I'm like, you know what? I'm freaking digging this. So I started getting into the story and like doing more of the story as well in order to like get the level up materials for Camellia. Like, got to see some new parts being added to the map. One part that was called the Black Shores also kind of, swept me away a little bit. I'm like, dude, this looks kind of freaking awesome. So everyone can see the Black Shore, and like the storyline that took place here, like, was nothing to scoff at all. I really freaking enjoyed my time in it. And I feel like they've added some like beautiful freaking locations since the launch of the game. And this definitely being one of them. So, then I kind of got thinking, I'm like, was I too harsh on Wuthering in the beginning? Like, was I wrong from the start, or was the opening very weak? And I was in a kind of a privileged position to test this out. So I got my partner into gacha games. I'm sorry about that. And she saw me play Wuthering, like play the modern Wuthering, because she also watched me play it like during the first hours, and like she was the opposite of amazed by it. But she saw me play like the new stuff, the new events, and she was like, dude, it kind of looks good now. Is Wuthering good? I'm like, dude, I feel like Wuthering is good. So when she came over here for the holidays, she downloaded Wuthering, and I kind of got to re-experience the opening, like sitting next to her, and I got to see the opening cutscenes in, the opening story beats and everything, from the start. And after having like seen the entire beginning of the game again, I kind of hold fast with my initial opinion. I think that the game is not putting like a good foot forward at all for the first 10 to 15 hours in the game, depending on like how fast you burn through it. I think it is kind of a freaking slog, and I'm not sure exactly when it gets good. I feel like it's somewhere after what's his name, Yang, the Jingle Beast, etc. Like somewhere after that, it actually takes up a notch. I feel like once you clear off the 1.0 content and like you get into the 1.1, it actually starts getting good, and obviously a lot of it is going to be which characters that you do manage to pull. And I'm not sure what's wrong with Yang's voice acting, but she's in way too much like of the early parts of the game, and maybe this is just a personal opinion of both me and my partner, but there is some work to be done with the voice acting on Yang. She kind of ruins every scene she's in. And I know this is kind of nitpicky, and like I usually don't get hung up on stuff. It is just something about Yang's voice acting. Dear Lord. So I was in the fortunate position to like I was able to play, current Wuthering, like doing the current events, and I could like see my partner on the screen to the left of me, like see her do the beginning. And honestly, the contrast was like very stark. And maybe this is just a case of them improving the game like thanks to player feedback, or I'm not sure what has happened. I just know that I really did not enjoy Wuthering Waves in the beginning, but now I'm having a lot of freaking fun in it. And 2.0 just dropped, which is Renacita, and that area looks absolutely fabulous. I managed to get this new character, and I've barely spent a freaking penny in Wuthering. I've kind of got the daily login and the battle pass, and that is kind of about it. I do feel like they're quite generous with the pulls. And this new little ice gunslinging girl, she is kind of cool. And there are some more cool stuffs coming up ahead. I think the one I'm looking forward to the most is Sani, which kind of looks a little bit like Arlecchino from Genshin-ish. But she has a big shield and I think a spear or a halberd, something. She looks really freaking cool. And now we're back in Renacita, and this is kind of the newest area of the game, and this area is freaking beautiful. I'm just scratching the surface of it. I've kind of taken some time off during the holidays and just, you know, try to spend time in the real life, you know, as sad as that part is. But yeah, this area is freaking cool. Look at this. Look at these two. Like, had there been more stuff like this in the beginning, I would have freaking loved it. They've done some really cool changes to this, and my initial impressions of this game wasn't great. My return to it has been all the more greater. I felt that initially it kind of lacked its own art direction and its own soul, but in my return of it, I found both soul and its own distinct art direction in plenty. And they have some really cool characters now that I've never seen the likes of in any other gacha, and I'm honestly excited to see what more this dev team can cook up. And since I feel like the game is vastly different from when I played it for the first time, I've also taken away my initial impression video of it, because I don't really feel like it is fair towards the game, because it doesn't represent the state that it is in currently. And I'm all for giving, you know, games and people a second chance, and I'm personally glad that I gave Wuthering a second chance, because the second time around it was so much gotten better than the first time, in my opinion. So I guess this is kind of my little hats off and nod to the dev team. I think that you've done, you know, a great job. I think that the game is in a lot of a better state and a lot more fun than it was in the beginning. And obviously no shade on anybody that's enjoyed WoWa since day one. I'm fully aware that a lot of problems might have been, you know, me. They usually are. But yeah, I'm super excited to see where the devs will take this game, and I plan to be along on the journey as long as the game keeps my interest. And as of right now, it definitely does. Now, I mostly cover the other horror games, but that doesn't mean that I want the other games to fail in any way, shape, or form. It's quite the opposite. Being a gacha creator means that I want the entire genre in itself to kind of succeed, because the more top dogs, the more top of the line gacha games we have, you know, fighting for the top spot, the better every single gacha game across the board will be. Competition breeds perfection, and it also breeds innovation. If you're not scared of you know, the guy slightly behind you coming up and taking all of your money, well, the need to innovate isn't there as much. And there are some fantastic quality of life changes that I've seen in this game that, you know, I really want to come to other games as well. So yeah, everybody, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm super happy that Wuthering is right now in a very good spot in my opinion. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, Hako out.